A construction project uncovers human remains. Work on a new water line remains stalled after workers made this discovery. It all started 2 weeks ago when workers were working to add a new fire hydrant near the TERRE Fire Department Training Center. News 10's Joe Ostrowski spoke with fire department leaders and archaeologists. He joins us with more. Joe, what did you find out?
Mark, researchers tell me that these human remains were part of a cemetery for people who died at the old Vigo County home. Now, over the years, the home had taken in people with mental illness, people who couldn't care for themselves, and people who couldn't afford a place to stay. These graves date back to the mid-1800s, and the markers for the graves are long gone. In fact, the fire department officials tell me the graves didn't even appear on plat maps when they bought the land. Instead, the land was listed as farmland. So far, workers have only unearthed parts of around 5 graves, but they believe there could be more than 40 people buried nearby. Now, state law requires that all work stop until archaeologists can investigate. Assistant Fire Chief Norman LOUDERMILK says archaeology students at Indiana State University are already working on that investigation.
They had to develop a remediation plan to take the remains that were unearthed and gather those, sift through the dirt and find any others, and then give them the dignity they deserve and a proper burial at Highland Lawn or some other cemetery.
LOUDERMILK says graves that haven't been affected likely won't be touched, and he says the new water line will probably be rerouted so it doesn't run through the cemetery. The professor working this case says the students will use ground-penetrating radar to find those graves. He also says this cemetery could help us learn more about health in the 1800s, and that information could be helpful today.
We can look at things like the prevalences of diseases. We can look at life expectancy. We can even learn about different types of things, how frequent things like dental fillings were in your teeth or false teeth, other types of medical procedures that will leave their trace on remains.
Now, the plan for investigating these graves has already been approved by the state, but it still needs approval from local leaders. In all, that work could last for several months. Mark, back to you.
Thank you, Joe. Now, it is not unusual for work crews to run across human remains. Professor Phillips says workers in the 1970s dug up part of the old Fort Harrison Cemetery while putting in a water line.